Welcome to the Market Muscles Podcast. Marketing insights and interviews with successful membership-based businesses in the health, wellness, and child activity center space. Learn their exact strategies on how they market and grow their companies with your host, Stephen Reinstein.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Market Muscles Podcast. Today we have a special guest, one of my longtime friends now, a couple of years that we've known each other, but he is a old school Okinawan karate practitioner, recently featured in the MA Success magazine.
Old school.
His dog Carlos played the dog Max in the movie Max, which I think is pretty awesome, and I've got a couple questions about that as well. Currently inspiring hundreds of people to become better versions of themselves through nutrition, and in my humble opinion, has reintroduced the importance of nutrition to the martial arts industry. Mr. Mike Storms, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to martial artists and martial arts professionals. I've been a martial artist for 42 years and owned a school for 34 years.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the first time that we connected, I think it was over the fact that you are, and correct me if I'm wrong, but an Isshin-Ryu practitioner and have done that for a while. Myself being a Shorin-Ryu practitioner and traveling to Okinawa and kind of living that lifestyle, I mean, is something that we connected over, pretty instantly.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my teacher, coming up 38 years, he's a Filipino-American, retired Marine Corps Master Sergeant, pretty much regarded as top one or two person in our system. He's married to an Okinawan. Oh. And I was in the Marines. He was a Marine, and Okinawan karate just made sense. There was tons of Marines doing it. And been to Okinawa with him and his wife. They still have family there. So I do traditional Isshin-Ryu karate and Okinawan Kobudo. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So when you went to Okinawa, was that for training or were you stationed there as well?
Both.
Okay.
First Marine stuff, and then went back for 2 weeks for training. Sadly, I went back in 94. I haven't been back since, had 4 kids and
sure.
Life and stuff, but it is, my wife and I, of course, are watching Cobra Kai together with our 18-year-old daughter. And it's on our top 5 list to get back to once they let us travel.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll definitely talk about that because I think, one of the amazing things, and again, we'll get into this, is the lifestyle that you've created for yourself allows you that flexibility to now do those sorts of things that you want to do, like travel to Okinawa without having to worry about, who's teaching and all that stuff going on. So we'll definitely talk about that in a bit, but we recently reconnected, and I shot you a message on social media because just from witnessing what I've been seeing on social media, just how many people within our industry have been taking their nutrition so seriously lately, and not just the fact that they're taking their nutrition seriously, it's the results that they're getting as well, because you see things come in and out of the industry from time to time, and you don't really see the results that follow with it. And, from my standpoint, not trying to make it a pun, but you've pretty much made nutrition, or you taken nutrition and have taken it by storm, over the martial arts industry. So, I was so impressed because it's something that's important to me. It's something that's really important to my instructor, who is just like you, has been a long time Okinawan karate practitioner. But even though he's, in his 50s now, he still takes fitness extremely seriously. He's a personal trainer. He's done shows and that's sort of the lifestyle that I'm trying to follow as well, just having a leader like that. But a lot of times as, martial artists get older, the fitness side of it kind of leaves, not the training side, but the fitness and the nutrition side. So, so inspiring to see what you've kind of brought back to our industry and the effect that it's been having on people.
Thank you so much. Well, my instructor, like yours, my instructor is 83, and I can do a lot of push-ups and a lot of pull-ups. Mm-hmm. He can still beat me in a push-up contest.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I was led by that example coming up in martial arts, but a lot of us, and one of the things I want to say to the folks that are listening, our schedules as martial arts instructors and school owners, where we get done teaching at 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And we're always on the go, and we're putting other people's well-being ahead of our own. And we get out of whack. And plus we live in what's called, as described in the program that we coach, we live in an obesogenic culture. Everything in our culture surrounds food. I'm going to get a tiny bit, and this might make people don't believe it or not. The food giants want us to be addicted to the food they're selling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They actually have lab tests to see how many pounds it takes to crunch a Dorito so you'll eat the whole bag instead of half of it. So, and then there's chemicals that are included in those things that aren't, processed food isn't bad for you unless it's processed to make you obese. There is like protein powders processed.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's created right, it's good for you, right? Or the green powder. So the challenge for martial arts instructors isn't their training for most of them. But what I learned when I became a certified health and wellness coach is only 15%, 10 to 15% of our health and well-being and blood work is what we call healthy motion. The other 85 to 90% is what we eat and drink, period. And so when we can align people's habits and choices with their physiological goals, and it doesn't take a long time. But again, what we coach, that you're alluding to, the program we use, and you've seen all over social media, which is why you reached out to me, school owners getting back to their fighting weights they were in their 20s,
yep,
that are in their 50s, 40s, and 60s, all through nutrition, not killing yourself in the gym, because your body's metabolism will reset when you fuel it properly. And you'll get back to having a metabolism of a 20-year-old. So it's just been a blessing. Of course, as you saw my story, I did it myself first.
Yep. I
had to lead by example. And then people just started reaching out to me, and it kind of took on a life of its own. And then it's just really exploded in our industry so much that Century called me and they're like, what the hell are you doing? Can we do an article on this health and wellness for martial artists and the school owners? And then that was in the November, December issue that just passed. And we're being able to help more and more people reach optimal health and well-being, regardless of their current physical. I had one of my guys, because I'm the martial arts coach in the NFL and college, lost 140 pounds. Wow. A former NFL lineman, off all of his meds, off, feels like $1 million, different husband, different father. So anybody can restore their health if they just make a decision. So that's kind of what happened with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, the results that I'm seeing, and like you said, it's everyone. It's all different shapes, sizes, genders. It doesn't matter. Everyone is getting the results, which is so impressive to me. I guess just to kind of give a little bit of background information. So I think you mentioned that it's been a little over 2 years now since you've been on this journey. What kind of what made you decide to do this, I guess?
Well, so I'm needed to challenge myself. I'm going to be 57. So 2 years ago, I was coming up on my 55th birthday. I was like, you know what? 5'11 and a half, 215, 220, lifting weights, probably a little bit too much for a martial artist. Had an ego attached to how much weight I could lift. I mean, there was just some stuff that got, goofed up in my mind. Being strong is great. Being super strong is unnecessary. So I had reached out to a friend of mine who'd reached out to me before in our community, who had a little boutique fitness gym. And I said, hey, I want to get back to my fighting weight. I want to lose 25 pounds. He goes, okay. So we had a meeting on the phone, which is how everything starts. He did a health assessment on me. We set a goal. And I went from 218 to 198 in 30 days, eating 6 times a day, restored my sleep, restored my skin vitality, all my joint pain left, dropped my afternoon cup of coffee, afternoon martial arts instructor nap, go to bed at 9:30, get up at 5 in the morning and go 100 miles an hour all day. And so it was energy, mental focus, sleep, skin, joint pain, metabolism, fat loss. It just like a jet plane. And then my coach, my health coach said to me, well, when were you in the best shape of your life? And I said, I was 18 and just graduated from Parris Island in the Marine Corps. And I was like, I'll look too skinny. I don't want to do that. So he's like, well, let's just try. Let's see what can happen. Let's keep you on the program at this level before you transition. So I went from like 218 to 175 in 90 days.
Wow.
And the vascularity and the muscularity and the flexibility that returned was astonishing. So then I went on optimization. So I started the program in October, reached my ideal BMI in 90 days, and have kept it off for 2 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great because leadership by example is key. I knew I wanted to coach people on day 5.
Yep.
When I entered the fat burning state. I woke up in the morning and felt like I hadn't felt in 20 years. And I was like, everybody needs the opportunity to feel this way. You're not bored with your job and your marriage and your kids, and it's just you're a person of a certain age. We eat and drink ourselves into a stumble, into a fog, into a lack of hope and energy and dreams and just a hopefulness for a brighter future. Because an overweight, medicated, dull population, boy, they're sure easy to manipulate. Yeah.
I mean, that makes so much sense. I know even for me, so I'm on, my own journey, of course. I deal with certain, health stuff that I have to eat a certain way to manage. And, I think it was back in early December where I started to say, okay, I really got to take my health and my well-being seriously. And I know it hasn't been too long. I mean, it's been about 30 days or so, but it doesn't take that long to see a difference when it comes to, treating yourself the proper way and the mental clarity that comes along with that. And one of the things that I find, and we'll talk about this, is that once you're making the right decisions when it comes to your health and those sorts of things, it then moves to other parts of your life. So it makes it very easy to make the right decisions for your business or for, your relationships and that sort of thing as well. So, I think the benefits. Mm-hmm.
Totally agree, brother. So one of the things we say as health and life coaches, because it's a complete life coaching and health coaching offering.
Yep.
If you don't change somebody's mindset and habits, the lifelong transformation won't occur.
Right.
One positive change always leads to more. And we don't focus on eliminating bad habits in the Habits of Health transformation program. We focus on installing good habits, and then the good habits push the bad habits away. In your life, you don't want to focus on, I don't want to be poor. You will attract poverty. You focus on, I want to be a person of abundance, of more than enough, of success. Pursue what it is you want. Don't talk about and stare at what I don't want to drink. I'm not allowed to drink soda. We don't say that. Mm-hmm. Drink 10 glasses of water today. You're not going to want soda. You're going to feel so good and be so hydrated.
Right.
And because the stuff in soda makes you want it. So when you stop it, you don't want it as much. But we don't tell people, you can't do this, you can't do that. That we add back in micro habits of health that push out other things. And then we support them. Everybody needs more support on whether it's a marriage journey, a health journey, a financial journey, a business journey. You need support and you need a coach and a mentor. Super key to people having success. I'm going to do this on my own. It's too damn hard.
Yeah.
It's too hard. It should be like somebody learning karate from a book and a video.
Right.
Daniel-san tried that. It didn't work. He needed Mr. Miyagi.
Very true. Very true. So cool. I mean, I think there's obviously two, very, I guess, obvious sides to this. There's the fitness side of it, and then there's the business side. So we'll wait to talk about the business side and talk a little bit more about the fitness side. But I guess, like, what can you say about this plan that makes it so successful? Because, like I said, I see these results on social media. I might, be beating a dead horse at this point, but it's like you see these things pop up, right? Like I've seen other programs pop up that just didn't do what this tends to do. So what makes it so successful?
That's a great question. And it's a clinically proven program that's been around for over 40 years and just continues to get better as new science comes out. It's in over 40,000 doctors' offices, which is where it started. So the reason it's so successful, A, it's clinically proven by the National Institutes of Health, by Johns Hopkins, by LSU. I mean, just study after study after study. So it's clinically proven and it produces predictable results. But the main reason, Stephen, is the 4 components. This is what people need to make a change in their life. Number one, you need a coach. You need somebody that you're going to check in with on a weekly basis for a phone call or a Zoom call. We have clients in 44 different states, which is great, having a brick and mortar business for 34 years, that I had a 30-minute drive radius. That was it. We have clients everywhere. I have clients in Puerto Rico, right? So we're able to help a greater number of people because there's no restrictions on we have a borderless business. But coaching, because a coach serves to help you celebrate your victories, both big and small. Because if you study Harvard and Stanford studies on habits, people need to celebrate process victories, not just reaching your goals. Mm-hmm. So did you drink all your water today? Great. Did you keep a consistent bedtime? Those are wins because they're habit changes. So the coach celebrates your wins, both big and small, but the coach also guides you through the Habits of Health system, because there's a book and a guidebook and a life book, and then they hold you accountable. If I got somebody, say we have a lady, like my wife and my co-coach, we talked to a lady this morning in Illinois. If she knows she's talking to us on Monday morning at 8 a.m., Sunday she's thinking about that, and she's not going to have something that she told us that she personally, she said, we support people's pace and goals that they set. So if she says, I am not going to XYZ, and then the temptation comes to XYZ and go off program like a nut on Sunday, she's like, I don't want to have to tell Gloria and Mike about this Monday. It's not worth it. I'm not going to do it. Right. And just what we teach is called stop, challenge, and choose. Stop before you do something. Challenge the decision. Is this going to move me further, closer to my goals or further away? And is this somebody my future self would thank me for? Once you challenge that, if it doesn't, choose something else. Choose the better thing. And just that pause when people have just been going to the pantry every night at 10 p.m. before they go to bed and eating. Stop, challenge that decision. Does that work for what you're trying to create? And then choose something that works for what you're trying to create. Just a big mindset shift for people. Wait a minute, I don't have to pick up a donut on the way to work? No. You can have an omelet instead, or you can have oatmeal with protein powder. I mean, you can do other things. Yeah. So that's the coach. The second part is the community. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people sharing recipes, wins, struggles, supporting one another on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, live Zoom calls. I mean, it's just a community of like-minded people, which is why we have mastermind groups. It's why we have, Market Muscle Group. So people are sharing what's working for them on Facebook and with sending out messages, because none of us are as smart as all of us, and we need support. The third thing is Dr. Wayne Anderson's Habits of Health Life Transformation System. Just the nuts and bolts of habit development, mindset development, and making better choices for lifelong transformation. It's not a diet. Something you change for yourself and you change generationally in your family, because your kids and grandkids are seeing you happy and full of joy and fueling your body right. And then the fourth thing is the nutritional fuelings. Depending on which, we have 9 different programs: nursing mothers, the elderly, under 15 pounds, super active, over 15 pounds, over 80 pounds, people with gout, people with diabetes. So we have different programs for everybody, but we have to take away people's decision fatigue. So the programs come with nutritional meal replacement that helps people not count, not prep, work on habit development and choices in phase 1, and then slowly work through where you're preparing more and more of your own nutritional fuelings. Once you feel great, once you get some quick successful wins, then now, okay, let's focus on your food prep, because now you feel great. You're ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously all 4 of those components are really important, but the one that sticks out to me the most is the coaching piece, because from my own, I guess, experience, I'm more likely to be okay with letting myself down than I am okay with letting someone else down. And
accountability, baby. That's the king.
And it's like, we don't, I think, to admit to ourselves to that happens, that we care more about what someone else thinks about us than maybe what we think about ourselves.
Right.
And that's not an easy thing to really stomach. And I'm sure the program and other things kind of help you start to respect yourself more, so that way you're not letting yourself down. But I think having a coach to be there, especially in the beginning, is really helpful for you to continue to make those right choices. Because at least, again, from my perspective, when you start a new program, it's exciting. And then a week goes by, and then it's like, crap, I'm in this program, and I got to commit to this. And having someone there to keep you going and just holding you reliable and all those things, it just seems to be like the catalyst. And, I think that applies to a lot of different parts of our life. Like you mentioned, masterminds and other things like that. I mean, having a coach in life and business and health, and, sometimes it aligns to be the same person that can help you with all those things. But in general, it's just, it's like having someone in your corner, and as you get older, you don't have as many people in your corner. Sometimes in the past, you had your parents, or you had teachers, and you had guidance counselors and things like that. But as you get older, you don't really have that sort of support system. So it's kind of up to you.
Wonder why we fail. Right. We wonder why we don't reach our goals when we're trying to do things without the proper support. And this is stuff I had to learn too, brother.
Yeah.
Being a mentor and a coach isn't what I do. It's who I am.
Yep.
I've been coaching and mentoring people since I was in high school, because I love being part of people's catalytic moment when they make a decision for some type of improvement. And I can go, you know what? You got this. You did the hardest part, which is saying, I'm not satisfied staying where I am. I want change. But once you do that, you're going to need support when the change becomes challenging. One of the things, Marcus Aurelius said this, it's one of my favorite quotes: the obstacle is the way. Whatever it is, physiologically, financially. Well, I can't do this because XYZ. Well, let's figure out a plan to overcome XYZ.
Yep.
Right? And then you help people find solutions and kind of ask critical questions that help them find the solution themselves. I'm not a hero coach. I don't tell people what to do. I ask them what they want to do, and I support that journey, because that's what empowers people long term. When we went all in with health coaching was about a year ago. Tony Robbins came out and said, it's the future of medicine and fitness. If you're not a health coach, you're going to be left behind. And he had all these studies, and people are 1,000 times more likely to make improvements in their health with a coaching partner than they are with a doctor.
Wow.
Because they're learning the steps to their own health, not relying on somebody else to make them do it or give them a pill. And I was like, wow, this is the cusp. This is the new thing. And it's just been an amazing journey since we started it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for you, like you mentioned before, since you were, young, you've always had this desire to coach and to be that sort of person for people. And I think a lot of martial arts instructors, especially, school owners, they have that same exact journey because let's admit, I'm sure 95% of school owners didn't open up their school because they thought it'd be a great money-making opportunity, and, give them all this freedom, right? They do it because they love it. So, I think especially, with the way that COVID has hit our industry, obviously there's people that have pivoted.
Devastating.
But yeah, for the most part, it has been devastating. And, I think a lot of people have seen the value of like you mentioned, a borderless business, something that allows you to continue to, do your job from a virtual standpoint. Right. And most of us have tried to pivot and offer that with our martial arts, but eventually that's going to move back, to being a brick and mortar type business as things progress. But this sort of opportunity, becoming a coach to other people, this is something that they, one, have ingrained in them. And two, it's just a massive opportunity for them to offer it to their existing customers and to anyone essentially. So, to me, it makes a lot of sense to become a coach, but I guess from your perspective, I guess kind of just like explain that process and why you think it makes a lot of sense.
Well, the best thing about it is it's completely congruent with our current business model.
Yeah.
So martial artists, now, if I can just pause for a moment. So I've had a school for 34 years. Mm-hmm. I lived in the back of my school for the first 18 months I had it because I couldn't afford apartment rent and my school rent. And I couldn't afford my school rent even. I had to bounce in bars on Bourbon Street to pay the rent at my dojo because I had 25, 35 students 34 years ago. Then I got my first strip mall. One of my first black belts' dad gave me 20 grand on a handshake. Got, mats, mirrors, wave bags. At the time they were just heavy bags, right? A front desk, a computer. And then had my first commercial mall, professional school. And then it's kind of grew from there to the point where before COVID, our school, a 6,000 square foot facility we own on the main street in our town, making between $50,000 and $60,000 a month gross. And COVID hit, I lost 75% of my students in 100 days. Doing virtual classes 4 days a week didn't make a big difference.
Wow.
And then they're very slow to come back. And so the health coaching we had started a year before COVID hit, maybe 16 months. And the parents, I lost, as I said, 15, 20 pounds my first month. I just walked out in the viewing and they're like, "Did you have plastic surgery, Mike?" I'm like, "No, I didn't have friggin' plastic surgery." They're like, "Your jawline, you look like 30 years younger." So I started sharing it with our parents. And then I started sharing it on Facebook. So all my former parents and students were reaching out to me. Because as martial artists, we attract less than 1% of the population want to do martial arts of any kind. Over 85% of the population wants to feel better and get healthy. So it's what's called a blue ocean market. So there are people in my community and in my current families and former families that would never, ever get on the mat, but love us, love me and my instructor team, and would love to do a 10-minute mentoring call with us each week about their health and well-being and their goals. So it was a perfect combination to offer more things to our families, to our community, and then it just expanded from there. They would go to work and be like, "Oh my gosh, you lost 10 pounds. Your clothes are all baggy." "Well, I got a health coach. Here's his phone number." And somebody would go to Thanksgiving and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you lost 30 pounds. And they're like, "Yeah, I got a health coach. You should reach out to him on Facebook." And then it just like a mushroom. And we were just overwhelmed with gratitude of how, getting text messages. "I'm off my blood pressure medicine, coach. Coach, I'm off my pre-diabetic metformin. Coach, my doctor took me off my cholesterol medicine. Coach, my joints don't hurt. I'm not a grumpy parent during homework at night. I'm happy. I feel good." Because poor nutrition affects your neuropathways and your moods. 75 to 80% of people on antidepressant and anxiety medicine, it's their brain function is messed up from insulin resistance. So, it just changes everything in your life. So we just started sharing people at the school and then it just expanded from there. And being a health coach, it is a system that's created for us. I don't know anything about that, Mike. I'm going to coach you on how to do it. And you get a coach's guidebook and a life book and a Habits of Health book, and you talk to your clients every week on the phone at a scheduled time for 5 to 10 minutes about their progress. First thing we say is, what are we celebrating this week? I had great sleep this week. Fantastic. Write that down. What else are we celebrating? I got in all my hydration. Beautiful. What else are we celebrating? I actually went for a walk with my spouse and our dogs 4 days this week. My goal was 3, but I did it 4. Beautiful. Healthy motion, healthy hydration, healthy sleep. How are you going with your healthy fuelings and nutrition? Well, I did this, I did that, blah, 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 blah. My lean green came out good. I think I might need more veggies. I was kind of hungry. Great. Send me a screenshot of it next time. And it's just conversational. Where are you in your life book? What questions do you have about that element this week? And what action steps you want to take? And what really spoke to you about this chapter? That's a coaching call. And it might go into some other areas, that they might want to bring up. And then we do this every week as people are going through different stages in their journey. Through the Habits of Health system, through the life book. And that's what being a health coach is. Encouraging people, helping them celebrate their victories. Oh, I only lost 1 pound this week. We're like, time out. Progress is progress. Doesn't matter how fast you're going to your goal, and we focus on monthly totals, because your body has something called homeostasis, where it won't lose any weight for a week, and next week it'll drop 4 pounds. Don't worry about how you're doing, and people weigh themselves every day and stuff. Stop torturing yourself. We focus on what we call NSVs, non-scale victories. My clothes are looser. I can tie up my shoes without feeling like I'm going to puke. I can go up the stairs and not get out of breath. Let's focus on all those little things that are changing. The scale's going to move if we're focusing on our habits. And I'm martial arts guys. I know you're listening, right? I had dislocated my shoulder, 3 knee surgeries, a back surgery. I'm a Marine. I did all kinds of crazy stuff in the Marine Corps, and as a bouncer and football and lacrosse and coaching in the NFL, my knees and elbows and shoulders and back hurt all the time. What did I tell myself? Too much makiwara, too much heavy bag, too much overextension doing my kata, self-defense. It was my nutrition. All of it's gone. All my joint pain's gone. Now, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, my wife and I moved to our country place, and I have a farm. So if I sling like 20 bales of hay, my back might be a little sore, but that's because I'm not practicing moving my feet. I'm twisting and turning, but I can outwork 20-year-old kids on my farm because of the energy level I have. But that's what a health coach is. You're just offering people the opportunity to partner with a clinically proven program that provides support. And if you care about people, and you can read and follow steps, you can be a great health coach. You got to love people, and you got to be willing to follow a system. Well, I don't want to ask them that question, how much they weigh now. We have to have a reference point.
Right.
I don't want to ask them their age, Mike. That's important because we need to know which program they're going to be in. And some people want to change the system, and I'm a Marine. I love systems. Mm-hmm. I love structure, and I see what the people have done ahead of us, and I want to duplicate their success and the number of lives impacted, and number of people off reduced meds, off meds, restored relationships, restored ambition in their careers. It's just nothing better I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I think about you mentioning how you're outworking 20-year-olds, and I think about when I travel to Okinawa, and Okinawans, they live till they're 1,000 years old.
Longest living race on the planet, bro. Yep.
Yep. And I just think about these people that I see in the dojo when I'm there, and they're in their 80s and they're just busting out push-ups like nonstop, and anytime you look up the articles about why they live for so long, it always goes back to their diet. And when I go there and I eat, and we're eating with friends, I remember this.
Hold on a second, Stephen. Are you telling me that the Okinawans don't have CrossFit gyms and Orange Theory and high intensity? Wait a minute. You mean you can live a long, healthy, strong life without killing yourself and exercise? Are you sure?
Right. Best kept secret.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No, it's a good point. It's a very
killing
good
yourself
point.
in the gym, friends, is not the answer.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I remember having meals there, and one of my friends,
Boba baby.
one of my friends from Okinawa, I'm eating my meal, and he's like, "Oh, that part of the the fish, that's good for your liver. That part of the fish, that's good for your eyes." I mean, they take diet so seriously there, where they know exactly what what they should be eating and how that's going to be good for your body, and all these different things. And the other piece is, have you ever tried the goiza before? That like bitter melon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, it tastes so bad. Like it tastes really, really bad. And they make juice out of it. They add it to your burgers. They add it to everything. And it's always because of the nutritional benefits that come from it. I'm not saying that, you always have to eat something that's bad, but I'm just saying that their thought when it comes to nutrition is they put it so high in terms of importance. It's way more important than, the taste of the food or whatever. But I mean, they've got wonderful, awesome tasting food as well. It's just, they're just so serious about their nutrition there that if it's going to provide them benefits, they'll eat something that doesn't taste great. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that the proof is in the statistics, right? The oldest people are coming from Okinawa. They care so much about their nutrition. And like you mentioned, there's no crazy CrossFit gyms or anything like that.
They don't retire. They're taking care of grandkids and great grandkids. They're gardening every day.
Yep.
They're walking every day.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The Ikigai thing, right, in Okinawa, and all the blue zones, Sardinia, they walk everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They stay very engaged in whether it's gardening or flowers or food prep or family or whatever. They're engaged in their life, and they eat differently than we do.
Yep.
And people, I mean, eating is required to live, right? But with my wife and I went out to eat. We go out to eat every year on the 30th and recap our year. What did we learn from our failures? What are we grateful for? What do we want to build and create the next year? And we had a beautiful lunch at a white tablecloth restaurant. I had grilled quail and grilled lamb chops. We split bacon wrapped scallops. We had some steamed vegetables. We still eat beautifully.
Yep.
Now, I didn't have a giant bowl of pasta the size of my head. So I do watch my fast carbs and I eat a ton of vegetables and protein, but you can still eat. But people say, well, my ex, like people say, my wine, Mike, I don't want to give up my wine. You don't have to give up your wine. Maybe dial it back for a period of time, see if you can feel better. Or they say, my chocolate, like it's like my son or my daughter. They've identified these things in their nutritional plan that is like part of them.
Yeah.
And because of insulin resistance and the cravings that the body creates chemically and psychologically,
right,
they can go away in a few weeks. And there's always a way to substitute something healthy for something that not so healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is like, you kind of get accustomed to giving yourself these treats because that's what's making you happy because you're unhappy with other parts of your life. But like you said before, once you start making good decisions, these parts of your life that you were once unhappy with no longer make you unhappy. So you don't need the chocolate, you don't need the wine to substitute, and give you some sort of happiness. So, I find that the more that you make those decisions that, result in these benefits to you, the more likely you're to make more good decisions. And just as a quick example, the other night I was making, I forgot what it was. It was spaghetti squash. And, it sits in the oven for like 40, 50 minutes or something.
We do it once or twice a week. One of my favorites.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it can be added into a lot of stuff. So it's great. But I was waiting for it to, to finish up in the oven. And typically for that 40, 50 minutes, I would normally just sit on the couch, maybe do some work, scroll on Facebook or something like that. But instead I decided, okay, I'm just going to take down the Christmas tree. I'm going to pack everything up. I'm going to do, something productive with my time. And I took a moment to realize that, in that instant, I made a decision that was definitely better with my time. And the reason why I did it is because for the past, 3-4 weeks, I've been making these decisions, putting myself first, and, making these kind of what I call hard decisions, at least at first, to better myself or my situation. And it just makes it easier, I guess, as time goes on, where you start to make those decisions for yourself.
So good, bro. And what you're talking about, I mean, you're singing my song.
Mm-hmm.
People just, once you're doing better, you want to keep doing better in every area. And you're like, well, what do I do about this, Mike? I'm like, we'll address that later. Let's just focus on one thing this week. Macro habits. This week it's sleep. Next week it's hydration. Next week it's awareness, right? Next week it's your environment that you live in, and any toxic people or habits you want to jot down and consider them. Are they adding value or not adding value to your life? I mean, it's a beautiful thing when you get to give people permission that their self-care matters.
Yeah.
Because you can't pour out of an empty cup. Right. So, like moms are the ones particularly, I didn't eat breakfast because I had to feed the kids. Oh, time out. Your immune system deserves to be fueled. Your brain function, your energy, your focus. Get up 15 minutes earlier and get a fueling in before your kids get up. Take care of you. And that's that thing, like martial artists are like this too. My students, my family, I didn't eat breakfast or lunch. I ate dinner when I got home. And I'm like, what did you do? I had 5-hour energy drinks. And I'm like, bro, you're destroying your adrenal system. Give me 30 days. This is not like you sign up for a year. It's 30 days at a time.
Right. Give
me 30 days and you will feel like a different human being on this nutritional and coaching program, because your self-care matters. The way you intentionally create your moods, your focus, your imagination, your dreams by how you fuel yourself. And it's also not, getting off subject a tiny bit here, Steve. It's not just what we eat and drink. It's what we listen to and watch fuels our dreams and our soul and our mindset.
Yeah.
So it's super important. Input equals output, right?
Yep.
I don't watch the news. We don't even have TV. We have streaming. Like we'll watch, what are we watching right now? Cobra Kai, right? We watch Cobra Kai. So, but we don't watch television. It's not, they should call CNN, you know what it stands for, right? Constantly negative news.
Yeah.
I don't watch this. Bad for my immune system, bad for my mindset.
Yeah, totally agree there.
Now we have dozens and dozens and dozens of martial arts schools that have added it to their program and are helping more people than ever. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So for the ones that are listening right now, and obviously, everything that we're talking about sounds great, but if they're interested potentially in adding this revenue stream, do you suggest that they start as being a student of the program first, so that way it's easier to show the results? Or, what do you suggest in terms of getting started?
That's a great question. It really depends on the individual, right? Mm-hmm. So let me give you a couple of examples. Say you want to lose 75 pounds. I would say you should do the program first before you start talking to people about their health.
Sure.
Say you want to lose under 20 pounds, under 25 pounds. I would say do the program for a week and begin sharing it.
Right.
You're in pretty good shape. So it really depends on that person's individual state and individual goals. The other thing I would say is, if you're listening to this and you have any inclination at all to add health coaching to your offerings at your school and add a few $1,000 very quickly to your net with no ongoing expenses, I want everybody to hear that. 0 ongoing expenses. January is the best time in the world. Everybody's looking for something. And then February is great too, because everybody quits in January in the mid and they're looking for something different in February.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it really depends on the individual. I have some people that I'm not at liberty to say who they are. They started program and they started coaching a week to 10 days later.
Yep.
Because my thing is, I don't tell people what to do. I'm their coach. I'm not their freaking boss.
Right.
Right. So if you were like, hey, I want to start offering this to my students right now. I need to lose 50 pounds, but I have students that can really benefit from it, and they can go on the journey with me. I've had people do that and done very, very well.
Yep.
Because they're like, feel like they have a buddy. Their coach is like, all you got to be is a week ahead of people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. There's I'm not sure if you've ever heard of StoryBrand before.
I love it. Of course.
Yeah. So they talk about being the hero and being the guide and what the importance
100%.
is of those things. And I think a lot of, school owners, they feel like they need to be the hero a lot of the times. And, they need to have
Awesome.
Yeah. And so to be that guide, and allowing your students to be the hero, I think that's the key.
That is one of the key components that they will hear every week on a training call.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a hero coach. Empower your clients to be the hero. You partner with them on their goals and guide them. I mean, that is part of our culture.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, who gets the credit?
Right.
I don't want the credit. I want them to people to say, Mike Storms, you and your wife changed my life. I didn't change your damn life. I did this on a weekly basis and helped you get momentum and break your inertia and make decisions. You did all the work. You do all the credit. I just went, hey, I got a map. Would you like to follow this map? Great. I'll be your guide on the journey. Turn left here, turn right there, go straight there based on your feedback. But right. You are the hero. You get the kudos. You get the victory. Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I mean, I think that this is a no-brainer. I with martial arts, and we see this all the time, when we're counting like how many leads come through people's websites for what programs, but, kids martial arts is obviously the big money maker for a lot of martial arts schools. And the challenge is a lot of, for adults in the adult program, you're always competing with gyms and nutrition programs and stuff like that. So it's hard.
Yeah.
Plus you're trying to get them to, wear some pajamas and learn how to kick and punch and do all this stuff. So the adult program is always a hard thing to crack into. Right. So by being able to
JJ school. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yep. But being able to compete at that level in terms of offering a nutrition program, offering the fitness side of things, not only are you going to grow your nutrition program, but you're going to grow your adult program as well, because now it's fully faceted.
You want to hear something else that we've discovered accidentally?
Sure.
My school is 90% kids.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the kids coming in. Remember, we always have two clients, friends. You got the payor and the student, parent and the student. Imagine the retention change when you're serving both of them as their mentor and sensei.
Yeah.
Our retention, when we started coaching the parents in health and wellness, they're not going to pull the kid out because the kid wants to quit, because they still got to talk to you every week on the phone. It was a really nice bundling over time, because the parents trust and love us so much. And we really wanted to get an opportunity to pour into them, but we didn't have an offering.
Yeah.
And they don't want to get it. They're never getting on the mat.
Yeah.
If I just add a kickboxing program, if I just add Tai Chi, 99% of them have zero interest in doing your program.
Yeah.
But 85% of them would have an interest in feeling better and maintaining optimal health and well-being. So you're just opening up a totally different garage door into your business for your current leads. You already have them in your student body, in your student base, and former students as well.
Totally. Cool. Well, I appreciate you sharing all that information. I've got a couple final things for you. One, just because I mentioned it in the beginning and I'm curious myself, but tell me a little bit about how your dog got that opportunity with Max and how all that happened. I'd love to hear that story.
So if you saw the movie Max, it was directed by the guy who did, what was that great football movie? I forget what football movie he did. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my dog's movie poster right there. So the director of Marley and Me and Remember the Titans.
Yes. Yeah.
Also did Max. So
Okay.
it was his second movie, Max White House Hero, went straight to DVD. Not great. But his first movie, there was 4 or 5 dogs in it. My dog's name is Carlos. He's on the poster. He's on the DVDs. He was 85% of the movies. I'm going to invite him in here and then kick him out.
Perfect. Does he give autographs?
Well, he does. We do potographs. Here, Beast. Up. Cardi. Up. Attaboy. There he is.
Wow.
Okay, off. Go. So yeah, he's super well trained. So we have a Dutch Shepherd too, which is they're both police military dogs. Mm-hmm. So a dear friend of mine who's a U.S. Air Force vet in Kentucky trains and breeds Malinois and Shepherds and Dutchies. So we got a Dutch Shepherd from him and met Carlos, trained with Carlos when I go up there to train. And then Carlos was picked up by Warner Brothers, who did a worldwide search for a very handsome Malinois, and they picked him. So we actually did get him. He went because we couldn't compete with what they were offering. Mm-hmm. So he went to Hollywood from the time he was 18 months old till he was about 3, 2.5 or 3. And they were like, hey, we did the 2 movies. Does that guy still want the dog? And they were like, yeah. And it's like, these dogs are bananas expensive. Mm-hmm. Like, he trains people for law enforcement, the military stuff. So he was like, yeah, he does. And they donated. They didn't make us buy him.
Wow.
I just signed a contract, though, that I'm not allowed to use him for money. With Warner Brothers, I have a very great contract, but I'm allowed to use him for charity. Oh. So for like the Warrior Dog Foundation, for the Marine Corps Semper Fi Fund, because he played a Marine dog and I'm a Marine. So we'll potograph posters and DVD covers, and it was loosely based on a true story in a book. And then we'll auction them off online. Some of the posters will go for $150, and we can raise money for these Malinois rescues and for military foundations, Warrior, Wounded Warrior and stuff like that and stuff. So he's great. And then we have kids come out to our farm and they get pictures with him. And
awesome.
Big deal, but he's an intense monster. And don't get a Malinois unless you're sure you can be the alpha.
Yeah.
Because they try to be the alpha.
I remember, when that movie got super popular, everyone got interested in that breed. And I remember that, it takes a very special family to really, have a good relationship and be able to, give a good life to that sort of breed as well. So I remember that specifically being a sticking point there, but I do appreciate you sharing that story. Yeah.
He's great. You can't, a Malinois is a German Shepherd on 10 Red Bulls.
Okay. Got it.
They are made to work. Uh-huh. It's what the Shepherd was 75, 80 years ago before they got overbred. And they need a job and they're very intense. And they, you got to be willing to do the work or they end up in the pound all the time.
I see.
Because they're cute and beautiful. And then we joke, we call them Malligators and Malliraptors. Mm. They're an intense beast. But it's been a pleasure talking to you, Stephen. You and I hit it off, as you said, right away. We've been friends for years. Love your website service. It was a game changer for my school. It was amazing. Your customer service and your attention to details and the way you're always evolving is fantastic for our industry, because we need to catch up, which I think this thing can really raise our elevation in our community of how we serve and what we offer. And why shouldn't we help people with their health more than the gyms? We're better coaches. We're better mentors. We just need a system and a program. And that's what this gave to me. And because of COVID, we were hurt dearly financially.
Yeah.
I mean, we were hurt very dearly. We lost 75% of our students, as I said, in 100 days. And if it wasn't for this, we would have been in a pinch. But because it has no expenses and because it's borderless, it just grew 22 to 39% month over month since the shutdown at the end of March last year. It's just because people are very open to improving their health now because they know you have type 2 diabetes or you're obese, you get COVID, you're dead.
Yeah. Yep.
It'll kill you. It's not about your bathing suit. It's not about what size you wear anymore. It's about these worldwide viruses. This is not going to be the last one.
Sure. Yeah.
People know they got to straighten out their health. And people are, I mean, the friggin' lap band surgery is going up through the roof too. But it's not just it's not obesity, it's insulin resistance. And in the article in the Maya magazine, I want to touch on this real quick if I can. Do we have a few minutes?
Yeah. We've got time.
I'm going to challenge all the martial artists. Listen to this. If you say you teach self-defense, you're full of shit. The top 10 killers of men and women are lifestyle illnesses, not violence. Your students have a 10,000 greater chance of dying from heart disease or stroke or diabetes or obesity or hardening of the arteries or cancer or dementia or Alzheimer's or what than they do of carjacking or a home invasion or mugging. We owe it to ourselves to be better leaders in our community, forward with our health, to gain the knowledge we need to lead from a place of wisdom, and to protect them from the things that are really going to kill them, which is their habits and their mindset and their health. And that's going to piss some people off. I don't care. You got people dying in your family and in your community that you can help.
Yeah.
Quick,
yeah.
While helping your family during this uncertain time as well.
Yeah. No, I think the way that you put it is impactful and needs to be heard because it's true. I mean, it doesn't matter what type of martial arts you teach, those sorts of things, like you said, they're real killers and, it needs to be addressed. So I guess just to kind of wrap it up here, I'm going to ask you to give one tip. It could be any sort of tip. It could be health related, business related, mindset related, anything that you can leave our guests with. And then the last thing is just so people can find you and contact you. What is the best way for them to do that?
Can I give one tip in each area?
Please. Yep.
So one tip on Facebook, and I learned this from the Habits of Health system, every single emoji on your post gets a private message. Start conversations with people. That's changed our life and our business. Don't just comment on the comments. Don't wait for people to reach out to you. An emoji is somebody doing a half a hand raise. Private messages. Thanks so much for liking my post. We love coaching kids. We love teaching kids in our community for the last 10 years. It's an amazing thing to be able to impart confidence in kids. Happy New Year. Don't sell them anything. They're going to bounce back and say something. That's a business help. Number 2, for your health and well-being, a fitness thing, don't skip breakfast. Your metabolism's asleep. Have something, an omelet, a protein shake, a protein bar. Get your metabolism started. And hydrate. And coffee and tea don't count for hydration. Hydration is a clear liquid. It is tasteless. And as far as the health coaching thing, just Facebook message me. Or you can text message me. My private cell phone is 985-789-8807. Or email me. My email is sensei. I'm not going to spell it for you. Period. Storms, my last name, STORMS @gmail.com. My Facebook, text message, or email. And can I blow your mind for a second, Steve?
Please. Yep.
To get your website, co-branded website, your coach's kit, the online university, me as your business mentor, all the marketing and advertising, the emails, the text messages, the videos to send your clients, is a one-time payment of $199. You launch your business.
Wow. That's a pretty clear no-brainer.
My wife and I in a $199 investment 25 months ago turned it into a multiple six-figure net business.
Wow. And it's just
no ad expense, no monthly, nothing. In a year from now, you're going to pay a $99 renewal fee. That's about it.
Wow. That's pretty incredible.
It is. That's why people don't take it seriously. They need more skin in the game, but they want the low barrier of entry so they can bless people.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think the true, reward from this is seeing all those incredible results from your clients. I mean, obviously the money's great with COVID and everything, but like I said from the beginning.
Yeah. Money as a martial arts school owner, money as a health coach is an indication of lives that you've impacted.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Period. End of story. You want to change more lives, starting with your own. You want to impact more people in this scary, uncertain time and restore health. It's a great tool to add to your toolbox that doesn't add any expense to your ongoing growth as a personal, professional coach, sensei, sifu, coach, mentor.
Awesome. All right, Mike. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, hopping on, sharing this. Again, like I said from the beginning, I just see amazing things, and I'm sure I'll continue to see that. So I appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll have you back on sometime in the future.
Thank you, Stephen. Pleasure talking to you, brother. Appreciate you inviting me, and everybody. I look forward to hearing from you. And let's kick 2021 in the groin as hard as we can and move forward and build some beautiful things with an open mindset of how we serve and bless people.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
If you enjoyed this episode and would like more information, insights, and strategies on how you can grow your company, visit us at marketmuscles.com.